great good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful and somewhat warmer Wednesday, February 11, year of our Lord 2026. My Cordaro Jeweler's watch tells me it's 9/11 and change. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, broadcasting today from the United States of America, the place where the brave, like the veterans we salute today, whom we lost last year and this. But John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality brings them to us. They are the men and women who have made us and kept us free. Like Andrew Ulickney, McAdoo, Thomas Wheeler, Wilkes-Barre Township, Roger Saliga, Scranton, Albert Fisher, South Scranton, Lewis Lee, Coxton Lake, and Harrisburg. Joseph Sokolowski, Peckville. The United States of America, the country founded with a certain knowledge and understanding by our incredible, amazing, irreplaceable founding fathers, that government is not, shall not be, cannot be our parent, our guide, our salvation, our direction. Not any of these things. The government is nothing more than a necessary evil we require to organize and protect society. The United States of America, the country where, for the first time in human history, freedom was declared to be an unalienable right granted to each individual by God. It was not something that could be parceled out to groups. Freedom couldn't be controlled by government or government officials because our great American Constitution ensures and codifies freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and freedom of the press, no matter how they use it, because we're free to ignore them. The United States of America, the place where a ragtag bunch of immigrants, rejects, and their progeny, because they were armed with these freedoms, created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. This Bob Cordaro Show, well, it'll always be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. And so we gavel to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that our commitment to common sense is pure and that we will provide, as a result, a sanctuary of sanity for all of you for the balance of this morning. And they are insane. They are insane. We've got an entire political party insane, denying fact, truth, and reality, and moving forward based on that denial, living a lie. And they've got a lot of goofball followers, believe me, paid and otherwise. So one of the oddest stories going on, this is not a news show, I'm not trying to be. This airport in El Paso, now it's on the border, so there could be a lot of, thoughts about this. There could be threats from cartels. They've been pressured heavily by the Trump administration. But the airport's shut down for 10 days. It's not a hell of a lot bigger than our airport. But it's got to be something of significance. If it isn't, somebody's going to get paddled. But 10 days for this El Paso airport. That came across the wires this morning, and I'm mystified by it. I'm wondering what could it be? Is there a threat in the area? You know, the cartels getting hold of weaponry that could shoot down or damage a plane taking off. It's all complete speculation at this point. But we'll see. We will see. It's something that came to me, and I was really surprised. For a set period of time. Now, the reason I bring it up, it's not going to affect anybody here. But, at least not directly. We've said to you that because of scumbag Biden's administration, there will be terrorist issues in this country in the near term. When? No idea. We'll see and follow it as it is. I mentioned to you, if you want to talk about the Nancy Guthrie abduction or whatever it turns out to be, I'm more than happy to, but it's not going to be a focus of this program because, as with all these sort of one-off stories, they're very, very important to the family involved, but they don't have any larger import. It's a family tragedy. It's a local tragedy. It doesn't affect us. Pat from Mountaintop says that Fox News just reported the 10-day ban on the airport was lifted. All right, so let's find out what that was about. I'm sure we're going to. Somebody's gonna get their fanny paddled. And by the way, deservedly so for jumping the gun. And it doesn't change my assessment. I'm happy to hear it, by the way. It doesn't change my assessment that something has to happen here. There are sleepers. Remember, 91,000 military-age Chinese coming into this country. You can't get out of China unless they want you to. That doesn't count the students, the hundreds of thousands of students at our universities who are paying full tuition, so the universities desperately want them. It's interesting. But yeah, we're not going to cover it. But if you want to talk about it or have thoughts on it, let me know. Yeah, I'm looking at my monitor. The FAA has reopened the airspace. Now, it was interesting to me. It was the FAA. It wasn't anything regarding the national security, so I don't understand it. We'll get it, I'm sure. But it's been lifted. It was put in place by someone who clearly, well, not clearly, someone who jumped the gun and then it was undone relatively quickly. Fascinating. Somebody on a note that I had noticed said Kentucky Democrat Governor Andy Beshear was on The View recently. He's now running on a born-again centrist platform for president in 2028. He said he would stop the gender mutilation of children in his state and got loud roars and screams in a liberal audience. But when Biden was pushing puberty blockers, these people are total hypocrites and liars, yeah. And gender affirming care, they were all for it. Now it's proven wrong and the gender doctors are now being sued. They're outraged at such medical procedures. Yeah, and you know what'll happen, by the way? They're going to reverse on some of these 80-20 issues, like the panoply and the suite of trans idiocy. They're going to reverse on those and pretend they never did it And the media will be complicit. I'm fascinated with it. I don't know how you can do that. You either believe something or you don't, and then you pursue it as a leader. But the Democrat Party, they're all followers, all of them. Oh, let me step out. John Fetterman. I always need to point out he hasn't changed his votes, but he's certainly changed and come out and in terms of certain common sense issues against the Democrat orthodoxy, the sick, twisted Democrat orthodoxy. Now they're going to pretend, yeah. Andy Beshear, he vetoed legislation to stop this gender-affirming care. Now, of course, now we'll see. Cabinet guy says spies. All the Chinese students are most likely spies. I don't trust them. Well, obviously not all of them are, but all of them are required under oath to be prepared to work for the Chinese government before they come here. It's a real threat. It's a real problem. And the universities don't want to lose that Chinese money. Well, look at the University of Pennsylvania. They funded Joe Biden's interregnum between vice president and president. Fully funded it. Chinese money. Amazing. All right, we'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We will return. Almost. Murph tells us this date, 1956. Elvis Presley, he performed his Heartbreak Hotel on the television show The Dorsey Brothers Stage Show. And before that, 1945, a meeting that set the boundaries of Europe, essentially, for the next 40 years, 50 years almost, until the wall came down in 89. President Franklin Roosevelt, a very weakened and ill Franklin Roosevelt. And everybody realized, by the way, after his very weak, passive performance at Yalta, where, Soviet troops were on the outskirts of Berlin, but our troops had destroyed what was left of the Nazi army by throwing them back after the Battle of the Bulge. We were and by the way, the Soviets wouldn't have survived without the United States in World War II. In any event, his performance there caused such consternation, particularly with the result of the Yalta Conference, that we realized you can't have somebody running 4 terms. They're going to get, the job's going to wear them down, as it did Franklin Roosevelt, and he was about to die, frankly. In any event, we lost out big time in the Yalta deal. From Rich McHale, the Super Bowl is meant to be a purpose of gathering the biggest stage, not just for football viewers, but the halftime show is a platform for entertainment for all viewers. The NFL has exploited that platform in a ridiculous push to the left. I've loved football, but I've had enough. It was a disgrace. I still have the lyrics of Bad Bunny that I cannot read on the air. I wouldn't say these to Cutie. I would let her read it, but it's disgusting what this clown was singing. Unreal. Yeah, the NFL disgraces up. Roger Goodell is a disgrace. He's a left-wing apologist at best. And he is ruining the NFL for the long term because, it's the only way you could put together a massive audience of males. So the advertisers are paying, and the networks and everybody else are paying a fortune for it. But this too shall pass. And then the NFL will have to stand on its own, and all this woke nonsense will drag it down. Mr. Paul had sent me, and I never got a chance to really go into it. We talked about it. Jason Whitlock. I want you to look him up. Whitlock. He's one of the most astute observers. Former ESPN guy. And he's got his own deal now. You look up Jason Whitlock, you're going to get a lot of wisdom. And he wrote about how the NFL under Roger Goodell is attacking America, essentially. And it's frightening to have that kind of disgusting leadership. All right, we've got to take this break. I want to hear from our great sponsors. Let's do that. We'll come back with our Veterans Tribute. We have the weather. And then we have you at 570-883-0098. We'll be back. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day. Brought to you by our friend John Basiliga, friend of the veterans. And today, it's already Wednesday. We start talking about Basiliga hospitality. A lot of people go out on Wednesdays. Well, we got the places for you to go. The Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township. Outstanding. The Far Street Tavern, the reimagined tradition in the Trips Park section of West Scranton. The Queen City Tavern. Cutie and I and our friends went to the Queen City on Saturday. Or as she would say, sorry. Outstanding. That was really amazing, the Queen City Tavern. Thomas Wheeler. He passed January 24th. He was 78 years old. He was from Wilkes-Barre Township. Born in Falls, proud Vietnam War veteran. He served in the U.S. Army as sergeant from 1967 to 1970. He was active in the American Legion post in Wilkes-Barre Township, past commander, and then an active board member of that great post. Thomas worked for the Great Northern Distributors for 25 years and also worked as a courier for Mercy Hospital until he retired in 2010. Thomas Wheeler was a devoted husband, father, grandfather, great-grandfather, survived by family members, including his wife, Teresa, his daughter, 4 grandchildren, a great-granddaughter. Thomas will be missed dearly, and his legacy lives on in the lives he touched and the values he passed down. Thomas Wheeler. Andrew Ulickney of McAdoo. We lost him January 26th. Born in Hazleton, member of the Holy Rosary Church in Hazleton, and former St. Cunegunda Parish in McAdoo. 1963 graduate of Marian Catholic High School. 1966 graduate of Stevens Trade School. He was a member of the National Guard, where he served as fire chief at Fort Indiantown Gap in Annville. He worked at Kovach Mobile Equipment in Nesquehoning, retired from Karchner Logistics in Hazleton. Lifetime member and past fire chief of the McAdoo Fire Company. He was a state fire instructor as well. And he was member of something called the Bunton Bach Association. How about that? Surviving, Andrew, his wife of 53 years, the former Mary Lou Hauser. 3 daughters, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, cousins, all of that. Andrew Ulickney. Our great veterans this hour brought to you by John Basiliga, featuring today his amazing Basiliga Hospitality Group. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Brought to you, as always, by our great friends at Montage Mountain Resorts, the place for the winter. I mean, you cannot get a better ski week in. You can't. There's not a better time to ski or snowboard. And I'll be checking out the Slocum Hollow Bar. Is that what they call it? I just call it the Ski Lodge. Mix of clouds and sun today. Windy with flurries 35. Tonight, cloudy skies. It's only going down to 25. Thursday, partly sunny with a chance of a few flurries 35. Friday, mostly sunny 35. So a pleasant midweek here in Northeast Pennsylvania. And all of that, the good and the bad, brought to you by our friends at Montage Mountain Resorts, the place for winter fun. They mean weather at Montage Mountain. The Beatles. Murph says this date, 1964, they played their first concert in the United States at the Coliseum in Washington, D.C. They started the show with that hit, Roll Over Beethoven, and the Bulldog found it. How about that? And before that, Tom Homan. I mean, it's the insanity on the left continues. Now, let's see what we got here. Somebody texted in, one of the trolls. Why is ICE not rounding up these military-age Chinese instead of illegals working the drive-thru at McDonald's? Okay, so there's lie number one. See, again, everything based on lies. They live based on lies, the trolls. So if you came in to this country, and by the way, the same people who are doing roadblocks for their, and I'm doing air quotes, neighbors, the same asses, because they didn't do anything wrong. Well, the Chinese don't have criminal records. So you won't allow them to be picked up. So you don't know what the hell you're talking about as usual. And this is what the left does. Absolutely disgusting, disgraceful. They're divorced from fact, truth, and reality. So you don't want any aliens, illegal or otherwise. You don't want any illegals deported from the country, but now you point that out and make this lie about somebody in the drive-thru. They're so stupid, it's stunning. And yet they will continue. Look at the Trump thing. I just got a thing from BillO'Reilly.com. Now, the Trump haters were desperately trying to link Trump to Epstein's crimes. But it turns out that Donald Trump called Palm Beach authorities in 2006 to warn them about Jeffrey Epstein's conduct, long before he was arrested. CNN and the left sickos said Trump knew what Epstein was doing and didn't act quickly enough now. This is who they are. What a disgraceful, intellectually dishonest bunch of clowns. And now we see it. Oh, you're arresting someone at the McDonald's drive-thru. But what about the Chinese? You won't let us, liar. It's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. And then they'll just keep coming at you with another lie. Unreal. Jack from Florida says, when the Super Bowl is played in San Juan, I may be interested in their cultural music. The Super Bowl is baseball, apple pie, and the NFL. Well, the NFL ain't apple pie. Not under Roger Goodell. And Goodell's last contract, over $40 million a year. Demanded health care. How about that? Oh, lordy, lordy. That's from the Carpenter. I'm telling you. All right, we're going to take a break. We got Angelo from Mattisville on the other side, but we've got to take this commercial break. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. The Monkees. Murph says this date, 1967. It was their second album, More of the Monkees. It made the biggest leap in rock era history, moving from 122 to number 1. And out of that album, he shows I'm Not Your Stepping Stone, where he finds these things. Bob Cordaro back with you on WILK. Mountaintop giving me high praise, and I thank you for that. But there's so much to keep on with the left. Just, it's all about lies. I don't understand it. Oh, by the way, Mr. Paul points out, I'm not your stepping stone. That's that should be a song sung to Paige, Mayor Paige Cottonetti, the people of Scranton, as we drive over our pothole-strewn streets. We should say, I'm not your stepping stone. Well, she intends us to be. Hey, let's go to Angelo from Madisonville. Why not? Here he is. Angeloots. We have you in a submarine right now. Let's get a better signal.
Oh, yeah?
There you are, Angelo. All right, man.
All right. Buongiorno. I just heard the local weather, right? It just hit my phone here. It said mostly sunny today, proceeding into darkness tonight. So I'm very happy. You know, my grandfather one time, I was helping him, right? So he says, son of a gun, when they were passing out the brains, Angelo, you thought they said it trains, and they said they give you a slow one. And I said, okay, Pop, where'd you make that one up at, But some of these people that are texting, what is it? Is it they got a slow brain, or they just...
I don't, Angelo, I can't get to understand it. They've got fixed positions, which I literally never have. Fixed positions, and they will lie. They'll do anything to hold that ground. And I don't understand it on any level. It's not about them, but apparently being a left-wing goofball is so deeply embedded. Being devoted to the Democrat Party, they're so devoted to the Democrat Party that they'll do anything, say anything, make anything up, listen to any nonsense just to stay there on that side. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it either. I'm done trying to figure it out. All I know is that the Bulldogs got to play Susie Q. That song by CCR. That's a good song.
I don't know if it's coming. I don't think it's coming today. Because remember, Murph does music history. So
yeah,
it's got to have an historical wedge in order to get it on the program.
Yeah, well, Susie Q, baby, I love you.
I love that song.
Her.
You know when I started loving that song? Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
Remember when the Go-Go Girls came on stage for the troops?
Yeah.
That's when I started to love that song, and I do. Yeah, I do love that.
I started to love that song when I went out with a girl from Jersey named Sue. I sang it every time she came in to visit me. Just,
and you could even sing.
I grabbed that guitar, buddy, and I rock and rolled with the...
Hey, final question. Are you on social media?
What is social media now? Facebook?
Yeah, all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook.
I always look at these things and these friend requests. Particularly, like Facebook, I've given up. Because people duplicate people you know and offer. I've given up. But on Instagram, just for example. So this insanely gorgeous model, that's the picture, that's how they depict her, it wants me to follow her. And she's following me. And I'm like, no, you don't. It's obviously made up. I'm not that stupid.
Well, there was a girl that I friended on Facebook, and I just unfriended her, and I seen a picture of her with 3 different names. So I don't know what that's about.
Well, people are
it's a
dumb enough.
guy
They
there,
make an association. You get involved, and they'll ask you for money, just a couple of bucks, whatever. Yeah, it's nuts. You got to use your head, whatever you're doing, is the bottom line, I guess, right?
The only reason why I keep it is because I got relatives in Arizona.
Yeah, no, it's great it's a great thing. It really is, as long as you are aware of your surroundings and don't think. I said a lot of these guys, I see friends of mine that are on with these model types, and I'm like, do they think they're God's gift to women? That this beautiful woman wants to be their friend? Really? Hilarious.
Oh God! I'll tell you, I had a strict rule I lived by before I got married. They had to be between 21 and 90. You know what I mean? Like, and they had to have, either a blonde, brunette, or redhead. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Give them all a break. But that other halftime show was good. It was America show.
Yeah, I didn't see that either.
I watched that. Yep.
And I'm happy they had it. You got to have an alternative for normal Americans. Angelo, it's always a pleasure, my man. Thank you.
Arrivederci.
All right. Hey, Mike, we got to sneak you in because I got an interview after the news. Mike from Clark Summit. How are you, Mike?
Hey, Bob, what's going on?
Everything's great.
It's like a heat wave out there.
Yeah. It was nice walking out of the house today. I'll admit that.
A comment about Donald Trump back in 2006 calling the authorities, calling the FBI about Epstein and what a monster he was. You're right about that.
Well, Palm Beach, Palm Beach authorities, not the FBI.
Yeah. But, I think in 2006 he did contact the FBI, but he only did that after the investigation was made public.
Well, no, the Palm Beach authorities first.
Right.
And
right.
I don't know that he contacted the FBI, but
yeah, later in 2006 he contacted the FBI. Only after
none of it'll be good enough. None of it'll be good enough for his haters. It's just that's what is.
Yeah. Don't make me do your job, kid. All right. Your homework, boss. All right.
What part? What are you talking about? I never said he contacted the FBI.
But he did contact the FBI after the investigation was made public.
Okay, great. Well, what's your point? He contacted Palm Beach authorities. That's what I said. That's what I said I'd said it previously, but I said it from Bill O'Reilly today. I'm not getting your point.
Get your popcorn. It's coming, boss.
Oh, dear God. Mike,
do your homework, dude.
Mike, do you hate him that much that you'll just lie?
I don't hate him at all.
You'll make stuff up.
I don't hate him. I don't hate him at all.
Well, what's the problem here? I don't get it.
Why do you support him so much? It's all lies. It's all his whole career's a smoke and mirrors. You know that.
Oh Lordy, yeah, I know. I'll drive to New York and I'll look at the buildings he built, and they're all smoke and mirrors. They actually don't exist. Dear Lord, it's scary stuff. Hey. My Bacardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 10:02, which means it's time for the news. On the other side of the news, we got our man David DeCosmo. And you remember the art thieves around here, the art memorabilia thieves? Well, he's going to tell us about that story. It was a big one. Now, a lot of you followed it, and they've recently been sentenced, a number of them. But we're going to get into depth with our man, David DeCosmo, after the news. Great good morning, everyone. My Bacardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 10:09 and change here in the great Northeast this beautiful Wednesday, February 11, 2026. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our man John Basiliga, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like Andrew Ulickney, McAdoo, Thomas Wheeler, Wilkes-Barre Township, Roger Saliga, Scranton, Albert Fisher, South Scranton, Lewis Lee, Harrisburg, and Coxton Lake, and Joseph Sokolowski, Peckville. Veterans we lost this year but celebrate today, thanks to John. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense. So we've got David DeCosmo on deck, and then Jay Young at 11:05. I messed up the times. I had them both at the same time, and by my mistake. But Jay Young, he's our oil expert, and he's going to talk about why companies may not want to do the Venezuelan oil deals. We want to keep following on this. It's not going to be smooth, direct sailing, no matter what Trump says. It's a huge deal. And as I've outlined on this program, massive benefit to the United States and massive leverage to the United States against the Red Chinese. But let's also know what it is and what it isn't. We want to know the facts, the truth, and reality, and then relate it to you on this program. We're not pursuing an ideology other than common sense, by the way. Mother Teresa, St. Teresa for February 11th. She says, to sometimes experience disgust is quite natural. The virtue, which at times is of heroic proportions, consists in being able to overcome disgust for the love of Jesus. This is the secret we discover in the lives of some saints, the ability to go beyond what is merely natural. This is what happened to St. Francis of Assisi. Once, when he ran into a leper who was completely disfigured, he instinctively backed up. Right away, he overcame the disgust and kissed the leper's disfigured face. The leper left praising God, and Francis was filled with tremendous joy. The amazing St. Teresa. And thank you, Mary Regina. Just every aspect of life. And she walked every walk. You want to talk about, I always tell you, the people that she cared for in India, we don't have, and I'm even including, you could include our homeless, the crushing, soul-destroying poverty in India is beyond anything we could comprehend here. And she waded right into it each and every day with her followers. Amazing. Well, David DeCosmo, he and I keep in touch as much as we can. And I say, David, you have anything interesting, you let us know, because we want to roll that theme song of yours. And here he is, our man, David DeCosmo. How are you, David?
Hey, doing just fine, Bob. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Even better when I'm talking to you.
Well, that's wonderful. Bob, I am recounting today a big story that it's like an octopus, got tentacles all over the place.
Yeah.
And most people have heard about it. They've heard about this ring of individuals that stole from museums and stole sports memorabilia, etc. Now, I covered what could have been the first of their thefts, or certainly in the early stages of this conspiracy. 2005, I'm at the office, WYOU in Scranton, and we hear that there's an alarm has gone off at the Eberhardt Museum. And sure enough, they were about to have some sort of a gala up there, and they find that 2 paintings have been taken from the Everhart. They've been stolen. The security cameras weren't working. So there they are, lost in where to go. Fast forward to 2019, and a fellow named Thomas Trotta from Moscow is pulled over for a DUI. Well, when police search his car, they find masks, they find axes, they find some stolen sports memorabilia, and this leads to this huge conspiracy involving 9 individuals. They were either convicted or pled guilty last February 9th to various charges of conspiracy and theft. Let's just review a couple of the things they did. And the big thing, the item, the theft that got this story nationwide attention, in fact, a segment on CBS 60 Minutes, was the fact that they took 10 World Series rings and 7 other championship rings and a couple most valuable player plaques from the Yogi Bear Museum in New Jersey, worth an estimated $1 million in 2014. They took a sports jersey and contract signed by the famed baseball player Christy Mathewson from the Keystone College in Factoryville. They stole championship belts, including 4 belonging to Carmen Basilino and a couple belonging to Tony Zale from a boxing hall of fame in New York State. They took, you remember Art Wall Jr., the famous golfer.
My old friend, Art Wall. That's the one that really hit home, man.
Yeah, they took 11 trophies, including 4 belonging to him from the Scranton Country Club in Clark
They might have
Summit.
even stolen his green jacket. It was horrendous.
Oh yeah. I mean, this was a massive ring that they finally get together because of this Thomas Trotta that they arrest for a DUI. And by the way, he becomes the key witness in the case. He asked to get out on bail while this thing was happening, and they granted him bail. And part of the reason they granted him bail was that he promised that he would get the stolen property back. And of course, that never happened. So these things are gone now. When you take things like those rings, which, as I said, that's the theft that captured all the attention, I think. What they did was they melted them down. They couldn't fence them as Yogi Bear's ring. Who's going to show off that? So they melt them down and they sell the gold. They had jewelry stolen here and there. Well, you can take a diamond out of a piece of jewelry and sell that diamond separately. Mm-hmm. But what do you do with the paintings? If you alter a painting, it now becomes valueless. As a matter of fact, supposedly, one of these characters burned one of the paintings because he thought they were getting close to him, and he didn't want to have the evidence there.
Well, you know what was interesting about the paintings? There was an insurance agent, an old friend of mine, but he got in trouble for not actually writing policies.
Yeah, he was convicted for a Ponzi scheme.
Brian Murray, and so it may not have been him. It appeared to be somebody that worked for him that was doing it, and then he just didn't want them to go to prison. But there may not have been a policy on the Warhol and the Pollock up at Everhart.
Yeah, supposedly, yeah, the 2 paintings that you're referring to, one was by Andy Warhol, and that one, I believe, was insured, and I think that was paid off. But from the very beginning, Murray, because of an art agency in New York, questioned the authenticity of the Pollock painting, which was called Winter Springs, I believe, or something like that, because supposedly the owner, which had lent the painting to the Everhart, had purchased it directly from Pollock. And that painting was never listed in any of his catalogs. And so there's an art agency in New York that said, hey, this isn't listed, and Brian Murphy therefore declares it a fake and doesn't have to pay the insurance. Now, if that painting is a fake, it's worth nothing, okay? If it is an authentic painting, it is worth an estimated $12 million. But we can't authenticate it because we don't know where the painting is.
They never found it, did they?
Never found that painting. Never found the Warhawk painting. Again, most of the rings and things were melted down and sold for their gold value. So it's just a story, as I say, it's like an octopus. It's got tentacles all over the place. And in an essence, it's still an active story because, if nothing else, because of the supposed Pollock painting.
Yeah, which could have been sold. Sometimes people will do this. Very wealthy people will buy a painting. They're getting it for pennies on the dollar from people who stole it and just display it for themselves. You just don't
exactly,
know.
And don't show it off.
Yeah.
Now, of course, if they find out the news about this, they're not going to go out and say, "Hey, I've got this thing here," because they might, incriminate themselves by having a stolen property. So it's a doozy.
Did they call? One thing that I was a little surprised at, they didn't call themselves anything. They didn't have a name for their crime group, and the feds didn't give them a name either, which is a little disappointing.
Well, more surprising to me is the news media didn't give them a name.
Yeah, it was fascinating what they did. It was destructive. It was horrible, but yeah, they should have had a nickname.
Yeah, it was also very carefully planned, Bob. As I said, when they pulled over Trotta for that DUI, they found maps of various places. So they were planning this very carefully. In the case of the Everhart, one of them went up a ladder and broke a window and got in. 2 or 3 others waited down below. So only one actually got in, which is probably why they only got 2 paintings.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, the police were there fairly shortly after the alarm sounded. But I'll never forget covering that and never realizing in my wildest dreams how extensive that burglary was with regard to an overall plan to hit these various places. I've got to assume that federal authorities, once they get a report of multiple museums or sports memorabilia places being hit, I've got to assume that they were starting to put things together very early on, that there was a pattern of this kind of theft. When you have a pattern, it does help you in the long run to track down what's been happening, where it's been happening, and ultimately who is responsible. Trotta was not only the guy that was pulled over, but he was the main witness. He turned state's evidence, as it were, against everybody. So, but when you look back on it, yes, amazing for the planning and for the uniqueness of these thefts. But you also got to say, my God, all that beautiful artwork and sports memorabilia that's gone forever.
Yeah, gone forever.
Yeah.
Well, David, a great pleasure. I was happy that you brought this to my attention because it really was a big deal. And I don't think we made a big enough deal out of it in this area.
No, I don't think we did. And it deserved attention. And as I say, the story goes on. As long as that Pollock painting is among the missing, this story continues.
And that's why they needed a nickname, because that would have given it legs. Next time, David, you're in charge of the nickname, okay?
Okay, I'll take it, Bob. Take it easy. Hope all your news is good.
Our man, David DeCosmo. Thank you, my friend. We'll take a break and be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Our veterans tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day, dutifully, proudly, loyally, and patriotically brought to you by our man, John Basiliga, and his great Basiliga hospitality. 3 amazing bar restaurants, the Old Brook Inn, 307, Springbrook Township. The reimagined neighborhood tradition, Far Street Tavern, Trips Park section of West Scranton. The Queen City Tavern, where I got to go Saturday, and it was awesome. Absolutely awesome. Stegmeyer Mansion, yep. Old school, fine dining, first class. A Terra 519, one of the most beautiful restaurants you'll ever see. And they've got a Terra after hours, starting Friday night, Saturday night. Roger Saliga. He was 83 when we lost him January 10th. Born in Scranton. As a child, his family moved to Bridgeport, Connecticut, where he spent most of his life. After retiring, Roger returned to his hometown of Scranton, where he resided until his passing. He earned a bachelor's degree from the University of Connecticut and enjoyed a long career as a computer programmer before retirement. He proudly served all of us in the United States National Guard. He was worshipful master of the Corinthian Masonic Lodge in Stratford, Connecticut. He was a bass drummer with the New York Skyliners Drum and Bugle Corps, an experience he truly cherished. An avid train enthusiast, Roger chose his Scranton home specifically for his location along the railroad tracks. He delighted in sitting on his deck watching the trains pass by, and over time, the engineers came to know him well. Survived by nephews, cousins, and other family members, Roger Saliga. Albert Fisher. We lost him at age 89, January 23rd. He was from South Scranton. Married to the former Rose Marie Kugler for 68 years. He was a kind person, raised at the Ohio Soldiers and Sailors Home in Xenia, Ohio. He's survived by his wife, a son, a daughter, sister, and other family members. Al served us in the U.S. Navy for 4 years, then attended the Mergenthaler School in New York City. Came home and started working as a printer and sports writer for the Scranton Tribune. He wrote the column Fishing with Fisher. When the Tribune closed, he worked at the Citizen's Voice. He loved fishing, monthly trips to the casino, and lunch with the gang. Member of St. Mary of the Assumption Church, and then a member of St. Teresa of Calcutta Parish. Albert Fisher, our great veterans this hour, brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality Group. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker, brought to you by the amazing gang up at Montage Mountain Resorts. This is the week, guys. Ski or snowboard. And Cutie started skiing again after, she said, 27 years. She's beyond enthralled with it. And my son goes up every weekend. They love it. And I love it. I love visiting. I'm a lodge guy. Today, a mix of cloud and sun, windy with flurries, 35. Tonight, cloudy skies, 25. Thursday, partly sunny with a chance of a few flurries, 35. Friday, mostly sunny, 35 degrees as well. So a perfect weather forecast to get to Montage Mountain Resorts, who brings you the weather and synonymous with weather as far as I'm concerned. you my life. The Turtles. Murph tells us this date, 1967, they released that great song, Happy Together. And Bulldog, who did you say that Olympian was? I mean, finally one that's just great. What's her name? Okay. Well, we love her. I remember her from something else. She just loves this country. She loves performing for this country, and she's great at what she does. So, I had to find somebody that was getting the job done on behalf of the country in the Olympics. A little harder than you would guess it should be. Hey, it's Valentine's week. You're running out of time. And when you hear that theme song, it means Alex Picardo's with us from Picardo Jewelers. Alex, how are you, my man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Good morning.
Well, it's got to be a little hectic because you got some last-minute guys saying, hey, here I am. I've got to get a Valentine.
Valentine's Day is Sunday, so stop in. We're doing special on Diamond Lab rings, jewelry. We have beautiful heart necklaces. Again, we have something for everybody. We are at old gold prices. That's very important. I didn't change my prices.
Neat.
I have a lot of inventory. I buy all the time.
So you're buying gold, too? And
I'm buying gold also, yeah. So if you even have some broken pieces or you could bring them in, you could trade them towards something new, or I could write you a check for your gold. We're trying to help people out, keeping our prices right, writing some checks for some gold, and everyone's happy. Valentine's Day is there, so if you're worried that this year you can't do it, here at Picardo Jewelers, you'll be able to.
That's the thing that impresses me because, you know, there was a time when I had a little bit of money, and now that I'm poor, I could still come to Picardo's. You know?
Absolutely.
I love that. What's selling the most in terms of Valentine's gifts? Because it's always nice to follow the crowd.
Yeah, honest to God, we had these beautiful new diamond little hearts, 14 karat or yellow or white gold, genuine stones, genuine diamonds, under $1,000, and they're flying off the shelf because they're good quality, they're beautiful, and every woman likes a heart.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. So all right, you're on Jefferson Avenue and Spruce Street in downtown Scranton, catty corner from the Radisson. Not
Yes,
hard to find when you come off the expressway.
Not hard to find. First building on your right-hand side.
How many years, Picardo Jewelers?
Oh, God. We've been around since my grandfather, almost 88 years in business.
Wow.
We're the longest, oldest business in downtown Scranton, and we are the oldest jeweler. We have everything in stock. You know, you try to live by the old ways and how people used to do business, and that's what I still pride myself by here at Picardo's. Whether you've ever been here or not, you know, I can't make everybody happy. I try my best, but we do our best to try to support no matter what kind of budget you have. If it's your first time here, first time in love, we try to just make it easy for you guys. Biggest thing is our service. If something happens, and things do happen, there's nothing I can do about that. But we stand behind our product, and I'll do whatever I can to make it right.
Love that. And by the way, that's why you're in business 88 years. Because that's the policies. There's no fly-by-night here.
No, we go by the old days and even our times. Why people are always like, why are you open Mondays and Thursdays late? Well, back then, that's when the city hours were, and we're keeping true to Scranton.
Nice. Now, okay, so with Valentine's Saturday, you're even open on Saturday. What kind of hours do we have this week?
Weekend. Friday, Saturday, we'll be here 10 to 5, and we're here for everyone's needs. Again, for layaways, don't feel afraid. If you really want to get that special someone, male, female, whatever, come in. I can work with you. I guarantee I have something in your price range. We make it easy. We could engrave. We gift wrap. We just keep everything where it should be. The world is crazy right now, but we're keeping it as simple and priced as we can here at Picardo Jewelers.
So like we say, the program is a sanctuary of sanity, but so's Picardo Jewelers.
We try. Yeah, we really try. We do.
All right,
Yeah.
Alex, maybe we'll get to hear from you again later this week.
I appreciate it. Everybody out there, please stop in, give me a shot. Let me try to help you.
Our man, Alex Picardo.
Have a great Valentine's Day.
Picardo Jewelers. It's not too late. It isn't. I promise you. We'll take a break and be back. This day, 1970, Murph says John Lennon performed his Instant Karma on BBC's television show Top of the Pops. And Murph just, I'm telling you, he just goes deep every day. He really does. By the way, somebody said regarding that, one of the theft ring, he says, we did a bunch of work over the years for one of the guys. He was the nicest, most unassuming, quiet guy you'd ever want to meet. He went to work every day and has a severely autistic son. Well, he now has to, that son has got to make his own way without dad because he's going to prison. Somebody texts in, Bob, it's Joe. I have to tell you, myself and my wife went to a Terra 519 Saturday night It had to be the most beautiful place I've been in a long time. Not to mention the dinner was a 10 out of 10. We did go out to the nightclub downstairs, and that was nice, too. What a good job John did with that place. It's amazing. By the way, somebody else texting in, the Post is reporting, and there's only one Post, the New York Post. The airport in El Paso was closed because the U.S. disabled some cartel drones that had entered the airspace. And the listener says, but they're just our neighbors, right? Yeah, I know. Honest to God. Let's go to Larry from Scranton. Larry, how are you, my man?
Good, Bob. How are you?
Great.
You had a nice show last week talking about Mike Stevens.
Yeah, that was
It was
enjoyable. Really
nice
enjoyable.
tribute to him. And I thought I didn't get a chance. I thought I'd call in and tell you about the time I met him.
Please.
It was probably about 10 years ago. We were taking the grandkids to the pumpkin patch. And we get up there, and they had a hay ride with the wagon and a tractor pulling the wagon. And who was driving the wagon? Mike Stevens.
Really?
He was dressed up in his farmer jeans and his straw hat, and he was chewing on a piece of hay. And as he's loading us up into the wagon, there's like 2 or 3 steps going up under the wagon, and there was a pipe crossing the sides right above the steps, like trying to hold the sides together.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody that went up to the steps, he'd say, "Watch your head on the bar, watch your head on the bar." And the people are loading up, so me being the gentleman, I waited till the older ladies and their grandkids got up. I was the last guy to get on. And as I'm going up the steps, all of a sudden, bam, I smacked my noggin on the pipe. Well, I saw stars.
You didn't forget your manners, at least.
I saw stars. And when I finally shook the stars out of my head, I turned around and I said to Mike, "How come you didn't say anything?" He smiled and he said, "Well, I'm usually not at a loss for words, but in your case, I guess I was." He said, "I'm sorry about that. Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I'm okay." So that was my encounter with Mike Stevens. On the way home, I found myself, I had a little smile on my face.
Yeah.
For meeting the great guy that he was, and I had the lump on my head to prove it.
Larry, so happy you called in about that. I appreciate it, man.
Okay, Bob.
Thank you. That is great. All right, we got the Bloomberg Money Minute coming up. I got Jim from Hazleton, who brightens my day when he calls. So let's do that, because I'm looking at my Picardo Jewelers watch, and it's telling me that we're coming up on 10:50 on the nose, and that means Bloomberg Money Minute. David Bowie. Murph tells us this date 72. He debuted as Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars for the first time. And Ziggy Stardust is the song. Hey, let's go to Jim from Hazleton. Jim, how are you, my friend?
Good, my friend. I appreciate the words. I do like to call in every day, but I actually have to have something to say and not just call up and take up space.
That's a good choice. That's a good choice.
Unlike some people on TV that they're on there, they're on the radio, and they got nothing intelligent to say. Which brings me to my point of why I called the Dr. Bulldog. I was listening to Fox in the morning on Monday going to work, and I just was disgusted with what Joe Scarborough said. And I don't remember the exact verbiage, but he made it like the halftime show with Bad Bunny was the best halftime show in the history of halftime shows.
And
that it was American.
he compared it to Ronald Reagan.
Right. What
yeah,
I
Bad
know,
Bunny and Ronald Reagan. I put them in the same category, yeah.
Yeah, I am sure. What I want to know, and I will ask Joe Scarborough, I'd like to know if he even understood one word that Bad Bunny said. And number two, even if we give him that, why is it when we ask him, the people that come from different countries to learn English, to live here, we're a racist, but he expects us to learn Spanish in 4 months so we can listen to his halftime show? That makes a lot of sense.
Well, somebody pointed out, and I don't care about the Spanish singing, but they said no South American country, nor Spain, would have at their country's national sporting event a song sung in English. Wouldn't have it. Wouldn't happen.
Yeah, when I said about Nancy and the Kool-Aid, Joe Scarborough makes the Kool-Aid that Nancy's drinking. He's like he's head Kool-Aid distributor.
He's a true idiot. He really is. It's sad.
This is the guy that as soon as Donald Trump got elected, he ran down to Mar-a-Lago to kiss the ring.
Yep.
After calling them names and doing all that other crap. And how quick people forget stuff. And the other comment I wanted to make.
And because, Jim, as you know, you always go to meet with Hitler. You know.
Right.
Phony.
Right. He invited so many Jewish people to eat at his table when he was Chancellor of Germany. He invited them.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, the other comment I wanted to make is these people that have no communes, when they text you and don't have the intestinal fortitude to call and have a debate, they sit behind their phone and they text you, and half of them, I think, they don't even have a life. They don't probably believe that. They just got nothing better to do than sit around and text you to wind you up.
Hey, now listen, Jim. Nobody has anything better to do than listen to this show.
Well, no, but I'm saying that they don't have nothing better to do to text you, you to get into a lather.
I'm all in. That's our large dysfunctional family. We get it, you know. It's okay by me.
I gotta come up with an antidote to the Kool-Aid and start distributing it around Lackawanna and Luzerne County, because I have a friend of mine, and she's Dominican, and I talked to her about the Super Bowl show, and she loved it. That's the only reason she watched it. She said it did a service to her heritage and all kinds of stuff, and I'm fine with that. But again, where I kind of draw the line, and you've said it a million times, is people that sing and people that are sports people should stick to what they do and leave the commentary and the news to the news media and the commentaries, and keep your mouth shut. And nobody wants to hear your opinion. You're not paid for your opinion. I don't care what it is, whether it's Kid Rock or Hulk Hogan or any of them guys.
Yes.
I appreciate it when it's for our side, but it's not something that
you're right.
It shouldn't be made a big deal out of it. Like, because nowadays, if they think people are stupid enough to say, well, just because all of a sudden Nicki Minaj came out to Donald Trump, so now I'm going to go vote for him because Nicki Minaj said I should do so. No, it shouldn't matter whether Taylor Swift says it, whether Nicki Minaj says it. But it's worse on the left with the Robert De Niro. I lost so much respect for De Niro. It's not even
Oh,
funny.
he's an ass.
Bruce Springsteen
Oh,
and all these guys.
Yep.
How could you sing "Born in the USA" 40 years ago, and now you're like,
well,
we don't care if you're born in the USA.
The song was critical of the United States. People forget that. It became an anthem of sorts, but it was critical of the United States. Like, he's always been there. He's just like many. Trump derangement syndrome has driven him literally off the wharf. It's done.
People took it and it I was
Jim,
in
we
high
gotta
school
go,
back
my
then.
man. We gotta go, but thank you always. You know that.
I appreciate the kind words, and we'll talk soon.
All right. My Picardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 11:02, and don't forget them. It's time to get in. There's still time to get into Picardo's for the perfect, and they'll figure it out with you. The perfect Valentine's gift. 11:02. Time for the news. We'll be back. We got Jay Young on the Venezuela oil deal. We'll hear a little bit more about that. We'll be back. You know the war goes on, baby. Great good morning, everyone. 11:09. Well, let's say 11:10 on my Picardo Jewelers watch on this beautiful Wednesday, February 11, 2026. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our man, John Basiliga, and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like Albert Fisher, South Scranton, Roger Saliga, Scranton, by way of Connecticut, Andrew Ulickney, McAdoo, Thomas Wheeler, Wilkes-Barre Township, Lewis Lee, Harrisburg and Coxton Lake, and Joseph Sokolowski, Peckville. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, and letting you know that we're going to provide for the balance of this hour a sanctuary of sanity for you in a world where so many have gone insane, including the entire leadership of the Democrat Party. Nuts. Anyway, we're back. And I got some interesting comment, and I've got to find it now. I told you we got the smartest audience in the game. And somebody texted in about this Venezuelan oil. So, okay, here it is. They say it, and we'll run it by Jay Young. But it says, I'll save you time, Bob. Oil from Venezuela is very heavy crude that needs to be thinned with naphtha, and there's still instability in the country. Exxon will benefit because they have specific refinement capabilities in the Gulf, and they're owed money for their usurped equipment left behind in Venezuela. Operating there is a huge gamble and expense. Well, the key, all those things are true. The key, though, is to make it safe, to make it secure, and I think they're going to figure that out. I truly do. But we've got to get him a theme song because he's my oil guy, and he's the head of his own company, the just King Operating Corporation, an oil and gas investment firm in Dallas. He's done it all. His team has over 200 years of combined experience in oil, gas exploration, and development and maintenance of an operating staff. They've got industry specialists, geoscientists, engineers, field operations, finance, accounting, land professionals, all of that. And here he is back with us. Jay, welcome back to the Bob Cordaro Show.
Thanks, Bob, for having me on again. Appreciate it.
Great to have you on. All right, so tell us, as it is shaping up, I know Exxon was originally out, or said they would be, and then some countries they're putting their toe in the water, but where do we stand with regard to Venezuela?
Well, I think that it was pretty genius that Trump decides to take over Venezuela. Now, whether or not it's going to be take over forever, who knows? But the reserves, because we don't have as much oil in the United States as they do in Venezuela.
Yeah, it's an incredible.
What I mean by that is our proven reserves in the United States are dwindling, rapidly, where Venezuela has this huge untapped resource or reserves, if you will, that we can produce down there, or somebody can produce down there. So to get control of it, I think was genius by the Trump administration, because, like I said, we're producing about 5 billion barrels of oil in the United States every year, and there's been some calculations that say we have 40 to 50 billion left, which means in 8 to 10 years we're done. I don't believe that, but I'm just saying that we'll find new ways and new discoveries and things of that nature. But right now, as we speak, we're going to be done. Venezuela, they are producing about 500 million, which is, I said 5 billion for the United States, 500 million for Venezuela, but they have 300 billion barrels in reserves. supposedly, allegedly. Who knows, Bob?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where they get these numbers. They just throw them away or throw them up or put a zero behind, 30. I don't know what happens. But they have a lot of oil down there. But the grade oil that they have down there is not good. It's Harold Hamm said in an interview, he said, you can pretty much walk on it. It's like you throw it on the ground and it's like you can walk on it. It's so thick. And, refiners in the United States, they need oil and they need this thick oil, but they don't need it that thick.
Yeah.
So they're having to mix it, like your reader said.
Now it's a big it's a big source for the Chinese, or at least it was. Right now, they're not getting any of it, and I just think it's a huge opportunity for leverage against the Red Chinese.
Oh yeah, there's been more world wars, fought over oil and who gets the oil, who doesn't get the oil, and what happens because, there's 5 billion barrels a year, or even half a billion barrels a year at $60 a barrel, $80. I don't know the quick math here, but that is a lot. I know one thing, it's a lot of money.
Yeah.
And if you're keeping it from another country from getting it, you have it and you're keeping it from it, and you're, tug of war. A lot of world wars have been fought over oil.
Well, in this case, I don't think we'll have any problem selling them oil, but they'll also know that it could be cut off and that it is leverage for the rare earth that they have and have been holding over our head.
Exactly. And OPEC does it to us all the time. They flood our markets, they take it off, they put it on. They're just trying to, manipulate, if you will, the price of oil to gain market share for, themselves and make money as well. I mean, they did that right before COVID. They put a tremendous amount of oil on the markets, so our supply in the United States was it was plentiful right before COVID. And then when the demand went to zero during COVID, or not zero, but close, price went to negative for a little bit and then came up, a few months later. But, that's what happens with supply and demand. So it's like we've had an average price of $70, $5 a barrel for the last, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, but you play with the numbers and play with what's going on, during the time frame. And that's like right now, King Operating, our company, we're drilling, we're getting long-term contracts for services to drill oil and gas wells, because it takes a tremendous, and we talked about this before, Bob, it takes a tremendous amount of people and companies to drill an oil and gas well. It's not just a, one size fits all, and you call this person and that's it. There's 80, 100 companies, just like building a house. So we're going out there right now in the United States, King Operating, and drilling a lot of wells but this year we'll spend over $100 million drilling for oil and gas, and where it normally would cost us $150 to $200 million, it's only going to cost us $100 million this year, because we are taking advantage of the price being down and not as many people drilling for oil and gas right now. So we're taking advantage of that.
Jay Young is our guest. He is the founder and CEO of King Operating Corporation. He's also the author of The Upside of Oil and Gas Investing. So we came up with a deal. It's a $2 billion supply deal between Caracas and Washington. Tell us a little bit about that, but it's not going to be all easy sailing.
Yeah. Nothing is easy sailing in the world of oil and gas, and it's just like this, like right now we're cutting off Cuba, from getting oil, and their electricity lasts 3 or 4 hours a day as it is. That's all that they have to turn their electricity on in Cuba, 3 or 4 hours a day, majority of the country, and now we're cutting that off. And so the same thing that's going on with Caracas or with China or with the Venezuelan oil or anything. It's like we don't know what's going to happen next. We do know one thing, that the demand for oil in the United States continues to go up. The demand for natural gas because of AI and LNG transporting it out of the United States, the demand for natural gas will continue to go up. So we're in a great position for an oil and gas company such as King Operating to take advantage of, some opportunities right now to participate on buy some leases, not only buy some leases, but to drill some wells and divest of some major oil and gas companies in the future. So
I've heard Bob, Jay Young, I've heard it reported that there between the United States and Venezuela, if it is performing to the level it should be, and it never was under the communists, that we would be probably between the two countries the decisive supplier in the world.
Well, I'll tell you, we definitely will control a lot. But the challenge with that is that statement, and I'm not doubting it because there's a lot of oil. We produce about 13 million barrels a day right now. We produce 13, we need 20. So there's a deficit of 7.
Mm-hmm.
We need 7 million barrels coming from outside sources. Matter of fact, we export some oil because our refineries can't handle it all, and especially the kind of oil that we produce in the United States. The world needs 100 million barrels a day, 100 million barrels a day, every day, 100 million barrels. So that's a lot, obviously. So we need to see what, when, where, all the oil is being produced. We're the number one producer in the world, the United States is, thanks to the Permian Basin in Texas. We are in New Mexico and the Bakken, and the Eagle Ford. We're the number one producer. So, to say that we're going to be if we had 50, billion, it's going to take a lot for Venezuela to get up there. And I don't know if the whole country has this really thick oil. It may not have this really thick oil. It may have better oil because, like some parts of the country, we have very good grades of oil, like West Texas. I got some sitting on my desk. I know you can't see it, but I got some on my desk right here for one of our wells we just drilled, and it's very fine.
Yeah,
very fine. You can see through it on a well we just drilled. The Venezuelan oil, you can't even see it. You can't even put it in a bottle, pretty much, because it's so thick.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a different grade of oil. And I don't know if Venezuela has the kind of oil somewhere in the country that is producing. We can produce one well, fine oil. We can go 400 miles, and a well will produce a different grade of oil. So not all oil comes out of the ground the same in the United States either. But we do produce the majority of a fine oil or higher grade oil in the United States than anybody else.
Jay Young,
so
final question. All right, so we've got generally a thicker crude coming out of Venezuela. Are we going to expand our refining capacity in this country? There's nothing on the books or on the boards at this point, is there?
Well, what I heard was there's a way that we can expand our refineries with the stroke of a pen by Joe Biden back 4 years ago in the old administration. Now, will we do that or not, or can we do that? I have not heard, but I know there's a lot of politics behind it about what's going to happen, and it's like they're shutting down 2 refineries in California. Man, we don't need to shut them down. We need to increase our capacities. So that's a great question, Bob. I don't know exactly. It would be great if we could expand our refineries. We already have. I know there's some people out in West Texas right now that are looking to, put in some refineries, smaller refineries instead of the big ones.
Mm-hmm.
Just think about Urban Cowboy. Bob, you remember Urban Cowboy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was a big refinery that was in that show. but smaller refineries just to use natural gas for AI plants and oil for to go through and make it into gasoline. Um, but it's not easy. You got politics. You got litigation. You have. I wish I was an attorney. That's a attorney's dream. Dealing with refineries, really, because you'd make. I mean, you'd have your year done. I mean, it's like you latch on to something like that, and you don't have to worry about money ever again.
Amen. Well, Jay Young, thank you for keeping us informed on what is happening in terms of energy in this country and around the world. We appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Absolutely, Bob. Thank you very much, and have a great day. And let's check back again next month.
All right, our man Jay Young, King Operating Corporation, and the author of The Upside of Oil and Gas Investing. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. We'll be back. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day, brought to you by our man John Basiliga, featuring today his great Basiliga Hospitality Group. It consists of, and more coming, by the way, 3 great bar restaurants. The Far Street Tavern, the reimagined neighborhood institution in the Trips Park section of West Scranton. The Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township. And then Larry, Danielle, Cutie, and I went to the Queen City Tavern Saturday. Top shelf. A Terra 519, one of the most gorgeous restaurants you will ever see. And it's got a hell of a bar, too. Stegmeyer. The Stegmeyer Mansion, downtown Wilkes-Barre. An old world take on fine dining. You will be awed. Lewis Lee. He was 87. We lost him January 20th. He was from Coxton Lake and Harrisburg. His loving wife, Linda Dix Lee, preceded him in death back in 2022. Born in Carbondale, he attended Orson Public School and graduated from Preston High School, Lakewood, PA. He's survived by a son, a daughter, and grandchildren, as well as other family members. 22 months of active duty in the U.S. Navy, serving aboard the USS ARD-16 and the USS Natahala. He was separated from the service as a yeoman third class. He then went to Mansfield State Teachers College, received a BS, and then the Fells Institution of Government of the Wharton School, University of Pennsylvania. Received his master's there. Served an internship with then Congressman William W. Scranton, the great Bill Scranton, in the summer of '61. He joined Mr. Scranton's gubernatorial campaign staff after his graduation from Mansfield. He worked for both the Republican State and Finance Committee in Harrisburg and then served as Director of Personnel with the Department of Property and Supplies. A highlight of his life was his election as a delegate to the Pennsylvania Constitutional Convention in 1967. He had the distinction of being one of the youngest delegates and the only non-attorney to serve on the Judiciary Committee at the convention. He worked for the Pennsylvania Economy League. He was retired after 24 years as executive director of the state division. He was on all kinds of private and public groups, all kinds of charitable nonprofits. Amazing, amazing record. In his commitment to the betterment of humanity, even after death, Lewis chose to donate his body to the Humanity Gift Registry to promote medical advances. His brain was donated to the Brain Research Project at the University of Maryland to aid in the study of Parkinson's. Lewis Lee. Joseph Sokolowski. He was from Peckville. He passed on January 25th. Joe recently had made the decision to transition to hospice care after a long, hard-fought battle with multiple chronic illnesses. His wife of more than 55 years is the former Judy Kimball. Born in West Scranton, he was a 1965 graduate of West Scranton High School, where he made many lifelong friends. He grew up in the Kaiser Valley. He retired 2 decades ago from the Tobahan Army Depot as a systems analyst after 37 and a half years there. He traveled the world during his career, the Europe, the Orient. He was a rifle marksman with the U.S. Army Reserves, honorably discharged in 1972. Loved spending time with his family, including a 31-day cross-country family adventure. He wintered in Florida, taking over 20 cruises. He was a do-it-yourselfer, called on by friends and family to help with every type of home project. His wife and he were blessed to have built their home in a fantastic neighborhood where everyone remained close friends. He loved the Valley View Cougars. Survived by his wife, Judy, their daughters, a grandson, and other family members. Joseph Sokolowski, our great veterans this hour, brought to you by our man, John Basiliga, and his great Basiliga Hospitality Group. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. Well, when I think of the weather, I immediately think, what is happening at Montage? What are they doing? It's a year-round resort, but right now, snow, snowboarding, skiing, all that going on. Perfect week for it. Today, a mix of clouds and sun, windy with flurries, 35 degrees. Tonight, cloudy skies down to 25 only. Thursday, partly sunny with a chance of a few flurries, 35. Friday, mostly sunny, 35 again. And we even beat that forecast. I didn't think it'd make it. It's 36 outside the studio right now and at Montage Mountain Resort. Blondie, she released her hit Call Me, this date 1980. By the way, I'm going through, I don't know how they find you, but they do. So I've got this hiatal hernia. It's a pain in the neck, literally a pain in the esophagus. But so I'm going through Instagram, and I'm finding all these, they're all miracle cures. I'm trying them all. And I'll get my money back if they don't work, which so far we haven't found the magic bullet and probably never will. But yeah, I'm doing that. And we'll see how it works out. And if I find something that works, because I know I'm not the only one, I'll let you know. Okay? I'll let you know. Because I'll be so relieved. But I'm trying, and they're all non-medical. I've been doing that omeprazole forever, and it's not working anymore. And so I figured, all right, let's try something else. But I'll keep you apprised. Hey, just so you guys know, as I'm looking, it's 11:40 on my Bacardo Jewelers watch. Get your Valentine a great gift from Bacardo Jewelers. They got anything for any amount you could afford, top to bottom. Do it right this Valentine's Day. Get it at Bacardo's. And a reminder that we'll have her on tomorrow. Tina Morocco, a global sales advisor at Premier Sotheby's in Naples, Florida. She means Southwest Florida. She'll get you. Whatever you need, she'll get you there. Somebody texted in, Bob, there's a song by Natasha Owens called The Boss. It counters Springsteen. Bulldog, did you find it? He's answering the phone. Did you find it? Could you play it while you're answering the phone? He just does so much. He's a very versatile Bulldog. You got it? Let's play it. As one of our great listeners suggested, and we'll give it a shot. Nice. 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 Now, the listener didn't identify themselves, but that's a song by Natasha Owen called The Boss. Shove it up your patootie, Springsteen. Oh, I love it, love it, love it, love it. Let's take a break. We'll be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. You remember that? This date, 1986, not long after the Super Bowl, the Chicago Bears had their hit single Super Bowl shuffle, Certified Gold. And by the way, we're going to finish today in a couple minutes. Whitney Houston, this date, 2012, she was found dead at the Beverly Hills Hilton Hotel. On the eve of the 54th Grammy Awards, I did not know that. Whitney earned 6 Grammys, 28 Guinness World Records, and induction into the Grammy Rhythm and Blues and Rock and Roll Hall of Fame during her career. We're going to finish with Mick Murph picked "I Will Always Love You," one of her amazing ballads. By the way, somebody said, "Hey, Bob, went to Ricardo's last week. Got my wife a great Valentine's gift. I asked for Bob Cordaro discount, and they wanted to charge me double," says Rich the Courier. LTS back at you, Rich, but I tell the jokes around here, all right? The Bulldog knows that. Anyway, let's go to Jim from Dallas. Jim, how are you, my man?
Good, Bob.
Great.
I haven't gone through the same thing for 5 years now. I quit drinking 5 years ago, but anyways.
Dear God, what a mess.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's when I'll really have a problem if I have to quit drinking. I've lost weight because of it. I'm not actually upset overall.
Oh, yeah, I was 300 pounds. I went down to 160.
Wow. Well, that's dramatic. Wow.
But anyways, that hiatal hernia, I had it repaired. I know you haven't. I believe you haven't got to that point yet.
Correct. I am at that point, but
it was the difference between night and day. And I got this. It's a prescription drug. It's called Protontics and generics Pantrazole.
Mm-hmm.
It made the difference between night and day, man.
But you got the operation, right?
Yeah.
Because there's so many of us suffer from it. You know what I think back about, Jim? I think about, like, I remember I'm a big fan of anything out of the 70s, and, like, I'm watching Banachek now and all those old shows.
That's when life was good.
And I think about their lifestyles, and I say, they must have been in horrible pain, because I'm sure all this stuff happened to them.
But one of the main things you got to do is when you're sleeping, keep that head up at least 6 to 8 inches. Because that alcohol,
I do it all the time.
That alcohol migrate up to your throat. That's what happened to me.
Yeah, I want it to migrate down my throat.
I know. Anyways,
so you got the operation and it worked, huh?
Oh my God, night and day, buddy.
Because some people say no, but okay.
I got the operation and I got the pills, and you eat them he prescribed one before each dinner. I only eat once a day, anyways. But
yeah,
it was night and day. So I know it's hard thinking about going and getting operated on this and that, but it wasn't that bad.
Jim, are you still at 160 pounds?
Yep.
So you maintained your weight. That's fantastic.
Oh yeah, I got it or die, but I was out of control. I was drinking 10 beers a day. But.
Well, that's a light day for me. I mean,
I sort of deciphered that when you were talking about it going out.
I kid. I don't do it as much. I don't drink as much as I want to. We'll put it that way.
I don't blame you. I don't blame you after being away for 8 years. I don't blame you one bit.
All right. Well, thanks, Jim. I appreciate it, brother. Good to hear that.
Okay. Take care.
All
Bye.
right. Let's talk. Mike, we got about a minute or so. Fire away, Mike from Duryea.
Well, this is kind of funny that everybody's worried about money laundering or money waste. I'm talking about the garbage pickup in New York City, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I just watched over the weekend. It was called the WM Golf Tournament, Waste Management.
Yeah.
Now you tell me how garbage pickup could host $1 million golf tournament collecting garbage.
Because hey, and you know this, we play stick out your can every garbage day, and just to thank our DPW guys.
The mafia.
Well,
it's the mafia. It's legalized mafia. I mean, who can? And it's amazing how they put it. It's a WM golf tournament. I mean, what the hell?
Well, imagine if they didn't pick up the garbage.
Well, no, I understand that part, but Jesus, I mean, we're getting hammered by garbage pickup, you know? I mean, it's just crazy how the price, and they want more money.
New York City's gonna see what it's like to have a communist mayor over time. Fortunately, he doesn't have enough control to do as much damage as he normally would. But wow.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, there's too many constraints, you know.
Yes, thank God. Thank God.
You got it.
Well, thank you, my man. Appreciate it. We're going to finish with Whitney. I'd like to play it out a little bit. Our guy Mark from Hazelton says the government, this is from Lydia Child, the government ought not to be invested with power to control the affections any more than the consciences of citizens. I agree with that. I'm down with you. Guys, love being with you. Tomorrow morning, we've got more coming. We got Phil Kerpen. He's going to come on at 10 o'clock or so. And we're going to talk about the assault on credit cards that is going on. And it's our own team doing it. So I'm looking forward to hearing that. And then we got a lot more. And we will follow up on the news regarding the Guthrie thing. The guy that they pulled over turned out to be a delivery guy, and apparently, at least at this point, has nothing to do with the kidnapping, the abduction, whatever it happens to be. But in any event, guys, it's great being with you. You know that. God willing, I'll be with you tomorrow morning. We'll finish with Whitney for our last minute. But for now, we're going to gavel to an order to adjournment. This meeting of the Club for Common Sense, telling you, we'll see you tomorrow, God willing.